So I just finished installing the rocker arms, and can be a little bit confusing to put in. Um, so how I did it, I just followed the book. I've seen a few other ways on YouTube, but something to note with the nice things about these LS is you don't have to. There is no valve lash to adjust. You know, it's not like the old small blocks where you had to twist the push rod until it grabbed and then go another half turn or so. So it just has a torque spec. But in theory, you need to torque them down when the valve is closed, because if you're say the cam lobe's up here and it's pushing the valve down and you torque it down, well, whatever torque you're putting in here has to fight the spring pressure here. So your bolt's not going to actually be torqued to spec if you just go ahead and tighten them all without getting the timing correct. So as the book puts it, you want to find top dead compression. Now there's a few different ways people do this, but basically what I do is if you just the basic concept of a four stroke is you got your intake, your pistons going down, compression, pistons going up, power, and then exhaust. So you know on the intake stroke, when the piston's going down, your intake valve is going to be open, and then when the compression goes up, then everything's closed, right? And then once it comes down and goes up again, your top dead on exhaust stroke will be your exhaust will just be closing and your intake will just be opening. So there's two top dead centers, one on compression and one on exhaust. So how I do it is basically, if you're turning over the engine, you see the exhaust open and then close, and then immediately the intake open. So now you know you finished your exhaust stroke. Once this opens, you know you're starting your intake stroke, and then as the piston goes down and this valve closes and it comes up again, you know you're on your compression stroke. So basically, if your intake valve is the last rocker or valve to close and you get to top dead, you know you're on compression. But if your exhaust is the last one to have just closed, then you know you're top dead exhaust. So how the book says it, get a top dead compression on cylinder number 1. And then I can't remember all the numbers offhand, but basically they have, it's like 1, 3, 5, 7 intakes, torque it, and then a whole, and then a few exhaust valves. You turn 360, get top dead exhaust, and then you torque the rest of them. So there's just two intake steps, timing steps to get all of them torqued. It can be a little confusing because it feels a little arbitrary which numbers you're torquing. So I have seen other people, what they do is they get cylinder 1 at top dead compression, and they'll torque both those valves because they'll be 100% closed. And then they'll just go through the firing order and just go to top dead of each piston compression, and then torque those two valves, torque those two valves. Now it takes longer because you're turning it over, but it's a little more foolproof. Like you're not, you don't have to do any guesswork because it's a little more logical. But this is quicker. You just follow the book and you should be fine.